Please give a warm welcome to Lilo herself, Maia Kealoha. And of course, Nani, Sydney Agudong. All right. And of course, Miss Tia Carrere, aka Mrs. Kekoa. And also with us today, writer and Stitch himself, Chris Sanders. Let's hear it one more time for this cast, you guys. Lilo and Stitch. Showing the draft here. Come on. I see a Stitch in the audience and a Lilo. I had to show off the denim. Come on. What I love about this movie is that, you know, Lilo and Nani aren't the only ones on their own journey in this film. Stitch has a full arc as well.
Yeah. So the thing at the very base, the core of the movie, the idea that we would take a Disney villain and redeem them. I had worked on a lot of different Disney movies, and villains are vanquished at the end. They slip and fall and such. And it was in the closing days of Mulan that we were just talking in the hall about how we were going to do in our villain. And I said, you know, I wonder if we could just maybe not have to do that. What if we redeemed one? What if one of our villains became a hero? And that was really the engine that started the whole thing. And that was the engine that made the whole thing work. And interestingly, the idea that Stitch would go from bad to good, of course, was the driving force inside the idea. But I was just re-watching an early story reel. The first time we assembled the first two acts, nobody saw this outside of Dean DeBlois and Thomas Schumacher, myself, and a few other people. And we realized this Stitch was changing, but really there was no reason. He was just nicer at the end. And we realized, well, what is it? There has to be, like, again, an engine that makes it change.
Right.
And that's when we realized family, like he doesn't have one. And there were more stories connected to this. It became more extreme to that. We can get into that if we ever have a chance. But so that was the engine that was going to change him. And curiously, we had placed the story in Hawaii. And one of the most magical things about Hawaii is this beautiful interpretation of what a family is. So the ultimate place to interpret the ultimate, definition of family was where Stitch was, and he needed that. So it was just this wonderful. It was just one of these strange things that you start out making a project, and things start to come together even before you know they are.
And thankfully, this is not the end of Stitch or Lilo's journey, because we already know we're getting a sequel. On the topic of family, Sydney and Maia, obviously, Nani and Lilo's sisterly bond is a central part of the film. You know, another beating heart of this film. How did you two work together to build that relationship? Because hanging out with you guys backstage, you haven't lost that chemistry. You know, you still have that bond. How did you build it?
Well, it was actually really easy to connect with each other because it was love at first hugs. And I made this phrase, and I also have another one.
That's a good one.
I'm the magnet, and then she's the refrigerator, and then she's the paper.
Yeah.
I'm the glue.
I mean, how could you not love her, for one thing? She was 5 when she booked the role, and she was 6 when she filmed. She's 8 right now. And it's been incredible to watch her grow. This girl is made for Lilo. She's made for this type of world, and she is just as wonderful as can be, and so is her family. So it's been a blessing, man.
I love it. I want to always just give you a microphone. I'm like, you're in charge. You're running this show. She's like, I'm going to hold you to that.
She will.
She will. Speaking of love, Sydney, you and I were talking a little bit about the importance of this film being in Hawaii. What did that mean to you, that significance and being able to share Hawaiian culture really with a global audience?
Yeah, I mean, it meant everything to me. I think being born and raised in Kauai was it's my life. That's all I know. And I think, you know, the way that we were raised and the morals and values about family and ohana and love, aloha, it's in our bloodline, it's in our bloodstream, it's the way we will interact with people. And I think that was really, really cool to be able to bring to life. And I'm an OG fan of Lilo and Stitch. I like all hail you, Chris, seriously, because but you're brilliant, because the way that you were able to create this story and see that Hawaii is the lifeline for family in that sort of way. I truly believe. And it's been wonderful. I mean, it feels like a coming of age. It feels, I'm just grateful.
Can you take us back to the first time you watched the animated film and what that meant to you, to your family, to your culture?
I think in general what it meant to me was it just felt like a kind of a redemption, and it felt like a second chance too. I feel like, especially when I first watched it, and so the reason why I love it so much is that sense of belonging and that sense of sisterhood and family. There's always somewhere that you can belong, and that was a struggle for me growing up too. And I think that this film and the filming of it has helped me come home.
Maya, describe that process and being on the set with Stitch. What was that like for you?
It was amazing. As soon as I saw him, I'm like, oh, it actually brought me to that line. That I'm like, can I kiss his nose? Because he was so furry and loving. I don't even know why I said that. He's not even a real character. Yeah. But when I was filming, they couldn't always have the puppet on set. So we would use like a eye mark or maybe just a piece of tape or the mechanic, the Stitch puppet. And every day I would kiss his nose and I would have black lips and then his nose would be purple.
You were taking the paint off his nose, right?
Yes.
Kissing him so much.
Yes.
Tia, you mentioned in that clip when you saw Stitch for the first time, you're like, they nailed it. I mean, it was pretty spectacular, don't you think?
Well, I have to be honest. I wasn't supposed to see the puppet, but I might have taken a peek in the cylinder he was a very James Bond.
Yeah.
I was like, what's that cylinder you brought to the set? What's that? And like, oh, nothing. I'm like, and I took a look and I was like, that's the first time I saw Stitch. Was when they brought him to set, I guess, for final approval. And I saw his fur and I saw his eyes and his ears. I was like, holy cow, they got him right, you know? It's hard to capture that magical combination of fluffy and adorable and sweet and also, on a turn, terrifying.
Okay, so Maya, I mean, this was your first major film, first time acting. I want to know, how many times did you watch the original film before you auditioned?
At least a lot of time.
Yeah. Were you a big fan of Lilo and Stitch?
Yes, even before I watched it. My friends are like, oh my God, I love Stitch so much. I was like looking him up on my iPad. I'm like, I need to learn this style now.
What did your parents say when you said, I want to go out for an audition? I want to do this.
Actually, it was the news that said it to me.
Oh, yeah?
They're like, okay, we have the auditions and everything ready for the people that want to audition. I'm like, that's what I'm going to do, and that's what I want.
And so then, what was your reaction when you heard you got the part?
Speechless and crying with happy tears.
Sydney, the push and pull of this sibling relationship, I think, is something that a lot of us can relate to. What do you hope audiences ultimately take away from Lilo and Nani's relationship?
That it doesn't have to be perfect to be good. I think that has been the biggest thing is my relationship to my sisters are everything. I hold them so dear. I would do anything for them. And I think that it's really cool to see the dynamic of the fact that, you know, we're fighting in one moment and then we're loving on each other in the next, and nobody's perfect. And I think that it's wonderful that they can come together and they can grow together in that sort of way.
Right.
And all we have is each other. So you hold them close. And this one, I am never letting go.